How to make time for your health. Welcome to Be Fab, Be You Made Simple, your daily dose of inspiration designed to help you reinvent yourself by optimizing your body and mind. I am Maria Horstman, a health editor and coach, a fitness trainer, a speaker, and an entrepreneur, founder of BeFabBeYou.com. Our episodes are short and will bring you valuable content and practical nuggets for optimal health and fitness that you can implement ASAP. Let's get you to feel fabulous every day. Are you ready? Check out the show notes to 1, schedule a free call with me to discuss a plan to take your health to the next level. 2, submit a question to be featured in our Ask Me Anything episodes on Sundays. Connect with me on social media and much more. Hit the subscribe button, and if you like what you hear, share with your friends and leave it a rating. So recently I was leading a corporate wellness session focused on helping the staff to unstuck and make progress in areas in their life and lifestyle that they feel that they're out of whack. So we went into a digging kind of process. So let me say this loud and clear. Action is the antidote to stuckness. Yet, taking action without taking inventory of where you are, without establishing a plan and having the very first steps to be realistic, doable, achievable, and measurable will likely bring you back to the same place where you started. Plus, you will feel frustrated and like a failure. I don't know anybody who likes to feel that way. If you do, hello, wake up. But if you're listening to this podcast, you probably want to feel like that. So in today's episode, I would like to share one of the awesome examples from that corporate session I had. It might resonate with you and ultimately has the power to change your life and your health. So this is about a busy single male professional that said that one of his weaknesses was in the category of health and wellness. And it was about eating healthier and cooking his meals instead of eating out all the time. Boy, haven't I heard that before. Woo! The first step he wrote down, because we went through a process, which I'll kind of walk you through in a minute here. So hang in there. Okay. First step he wrote down to kind of debunk all this was, I have to carve the time and cook my meals. Haven't I heard him say that before too? Oh boy. So he also went on to say that I don't have time to cook. I know that eating healthier is important. I know that cooking my meals is healthier than eating out all the time like he does. I need to do this, but ... So look, as a coach, there are many red flags all over this first step, but I kept to myself for a moment here. Instead of telling him what to do and what was wrong with it, I really wanted him to see for himself. It's about, leading the people to identify the imbalances or what's in their way. So he just needed some guidance to get to the root cause of this weakness, right? So we went to spend some time discussing his daily activities, his time management, investigating the reasons and excuses, yes, you heard me right, that were preventing him from putting a true effort towards his goal. Because let me tell you, this is not the first time that this come up with him. I've been working with this company for a while now. And I know he means it. I know he wants it. But how hard does he want it? So anyway, my process was to keep asking the why. I'm a person who always goes to the why, because I want you to find out the root cause. I want for you to get to the root cause so we can then get to the solution. Eventually, the guy said, I hate to clean. And if I cook, I have to clean. And that's a problem. I don't want to do that. Well. Look, like all of us, our habits and our beliefs, they come from the thoughts and experiences in our lives. And in order to change anything around, this exercise of understanding where things and habits, and thoughts and, they come from, it's foundational for change. It's foundational. Okay. Once you try to, to escape that, to overlook that process, look back. You haven't gone far enough, to really deal with this. Or maybe you have gone far enough, but you haven't dealt with it efficiently, effectively, and this come to haunt you later. So I want you now to do this. I want you to imagine, okay, a perfectly balanced bicycle wheel, right? And, as long as those spokes, right, those are the long metals that support in the center of that wheel, as long as they are supporting the tire, the tire is going to stay strong and balanced, right? The wheel is going to keep turning, and you're going to get where you want to go. Does that sound familiar? Do you understand where I'm going with this now? Look, if one or two of these are broken or bent, you are in for a bumpy ride. And it will take a lot more effort and energy for you to get where you want to go. Plus, you end up doing damage to that tire over time. And depending, how long you go like this damage can be really hard to be repaired, right? You might have to get a whole new wheel. Now, imagine that those spokes represent different areas in your life. This could be your health, could be a relationship, could be, your spiritual practice, your finances, fun. Yes, some people don't know how to have fun. And the list goes on, right? You get my point. So the more balanced these areas are, the more balanced you feel. So when those spokes are in sync, everything flows in a more smoothly way. You're more resilient in your life, and you feel a lot more stress. I'm sure you understand what I'm talking about here. So in a practical level, what I'm basically saying is when some areas in your life aren't getting the attention they deserve, you can feel stressed out, unfulfilled, unhappy, out of control, and maybe even lost. And things are not going well for you energetically in many ways. You're not even attracting, the right people to your life, right? So finding that just right balance for your life can really help you achieve your goals faster and feel more fulfilled, which as a coach, that's what I want for you. Now, if you feel like there are areas in your life that are out of balance, let's chat about it. First of all, let me tell you this. A few years ago, I realized that living a balanced life is unrealistic. I believe in living a harmonious life. Why is that? Well, the word balance makes me think of equal ratios and proportions. And each one of us have to identify what makes us, feel in harmony, congruent, and happy. And it might not be that 1/5 of 1/5 and 1/5 and 1/5, whatever, everything. If it is working on my business and coaching people and spending time creating whatever is very fulfilling for me, it makes me feel happy, and I spend, let's say, 60% of my time doing that, and for some might sound unrealistic, yada yada. Well, it's what makes me happy as long as certain other things get done, right? So each one of us have to identify these things. And surely making time to the X, W, and Z is kind of a must. And these priorities only you can set. Otherwise, if you don't set these priorities, someone else will set them for you, right? You're in the going with the flow thing, and you might not like the priorities that they set for you. So think about this. So here's the kicker too, which I also mentioned very clear with that group. Whatever, these activities are, whatever the category that needs more assistance or deserves more attention in your life, being and feeling healthy is indispensable to getting to your destination with joy. Because can you get there? A lot of times we can get to many places and do a lot of stuff, but are we really enjoying the process? How is that going for you? Right? Do you feel miserable? It's just like you hear a lot of folks, they're fulfilled financially. They're working a ton. They hold very prestigious, positions in the companies, but they're miserable. So there's something out of whack there, right? Like money is not going to buy everything. So we got to think about this. And a lot of times the health is being pushed to the side because you can push through. Look, I know how this feels. Okay. In my opinion, there is no wealth, whether it's financial or social or mental or physical or spiritual, without health. And health to me equals energy. They're the same. Yes, it is about having cellular energy, which we're going to talk about at some point in the future. I'm sure I'm going to talk about cellular respiration process and why it's important. We're going to talk about nutrition. We're going to talk about, supplementation, things that zap energy, things that, boost our energy, and so on. So the first step that this young man set for himself as I got to curve the time and do it, right? It was not the right step for him. It was not one that was going to bring him success. It's not the first time he's saying that to himself. And I think that he really understood that, right? As he sat there, he started telling me that stuff, sharing with the group, and his head is kind of down, right? It's a broken record for him. What he needed is to get down to the details and identify why, things are not making progress. So he could establish his smaller steps. That step was not the first step for him. And I see this all the time. Okay? And that was the case, by the way, with everyone in that group. They spoke about it, that spoke up. There's all kinds of categories of, imbalances that they brought to their attention. Some of them some people had the same one, but the way that they approach, the way they look at it, they're, what brings them to that thought, to that weakness is different. So makes a different and unique approach going forward. Now, is it possible for this young man to accomplish his goal? Absolutely. And based on his lifestyle and the priorities, we discussed the ways that he can. Look, as a coach, you're going to hear me say this quite a bit. One of my jobs is to move you from the I can't to I can mentality. Because there is always a way. There is always a way. And if you keep telling yourself, you can't do this, I tried this, and it says, no, let's go back to square zero and let's think this through. There is always a way. And sometimes we get stuck in our mindset, in our way of being, and we're not open for possibilities. And it takes sometimes a coach to help you through. So hear me out on this. Look, I can tell him or you 5 to 10 simple action steps, day after day. All right. And unless one person is emotionally invested, in the cause, long-term change is not going to happen. I've seen that with myself, and I've seen that with people who I worked with, that we almost have to kind of break it down, reach a breaking point, and then things turn around. Like my friend Todd says, this is a fact-checked, people. It's not going to happen. You got to be emotionally invested in this cause. So if his story resonates with you, I want to give you a few things that can help you to move forward and move the needle a little bit, right? So one is, and I did, by the way, these things, okay? Back in the day when I was starting my journey. And, sometimes we got to go back to the basics and we got to focus on those basic steps. So step one, pick one night of the week, preferably on the weekend, to cook, to prep and book. Okay, block your calendar. Don't let anything come in the way. Yes. And by the way, make this activity in your calendar, read and sound more fun. Maybe you want to say nourishing my body, fueling for energy, meals for muscles. I don't know, something like that, right? Make it fun. Maybe you want to watch one of your favorite movies. Yeah, watch it again so you don't have to pay attention to every word, right? Listen to a book. I don't know, something that is, catch up with a friend or a family member. I do that quite a bit with my mom, actually. Talking to her and I'm telling her what I'm cooking and all that kind of stuff. You know what? Find an accountability buddy. Invite someone to cook with virtually. Yes, put that free Zoom to work or some other way that you can connect, FaceTime, whatever. So these are a couple of things that you can do. It's important for you to find ways to hold yourself accountable, right? Look, if it is talking about time as well, right? Picking that one time, one night a week or something that's going to be great for you. Blocking your calendar is great for you. And also you might, financially speaking, if you can do this, purchase pre-washed and pre-cut vegetables too. That will help. You need those vegetables in your life. You know this. We're going to talk a lot more about that going forward too. Right. Also, do what I do. I use the kitchen toys, like a crock pot, Instapot to cook over meals, anything that is going to simplify, buy a good blender, whatever. It does not have to be difficult. You can do this. Look, I've been there. I've done that. I also want to tell you that this scenario that I'm sharing here, okay, that was me about 10 to 11 years ago. I used to make fun of people who wasted their time cooking. Yes, it is true. And we'll talk more about my journey at some point in time, in the future. The thing is, step by step, one change at a time. If I can do it, you can do it too. Look, my mission with this podcast is to empower you to, with valuable content and share practical nuggets, for optimal health and fitness so you can implement. In next episode, stay tuned here. Okay, because we're going to stay on the topic of, goal setting and action planning. And we're going to talk about your 24-hour activity list. Yes. So before I go, I want to give you more goodies and I want to give you a multitask tip of the day for you. So I want you to put your excuses aside, take inventory, grab a pen and paper. Yes, pen and paper. Make a list of your strengths, likes, dislikes, fears, whatever, right? Consider different categories like I mentioned earlier. I want you to identify the areas in your life that are out of whack. Prioritize them. Yes. Sometimes when we fix one, right, it's going to have a great side effects on the other ones and life is going to be easier for you. I want you to start creating a more harmony, to bring more harmony to your life. And then in order to do that, I want you to write down the first step you can take to move the needle for each area that I identify that is out of whack. So I want you to also let this sit for a minute, okay, maybe overnight, and ask yourself, is this first step really the first step? Do I need to break this down to smaller bites? Maybe yes. Right? And I want you to celebrate every single step. Do a dance party. Jump up and down. I don't care. Right? So, look, you can do this. And a lot of times what I see is people are not accomplishing their goals because they're missing that accountability. They're missing to make the decision. Really, you need to make a decision here. Is that decision you want to stay where you are or you want to move forward? I know very well that it's hard to do all this by yourself. I try that. It's overwhelming. And working with a coach, can help you a lot, can help you to unstuck. Since I left corporate to start my company, I paid thousands of dollars for coaches. I don't regret a penny. Okay. I paid with credit cards. Yes, I paid them with credit cards. By the way, I'm still paying the credit cards. I consider it part of my personal and professional growth, really. It's hard to do it alone and it's not necessary, especially if it's going to make us feel happier and accomplished. So that said, if you are ready to make progress, get to the root cause of your health imbalances and accomplish your goals, book a call with me. Okay? It's complimentary. Go to BFABBU to do that. BFABBU.com, by the way. Also, you're going to find the link in the podcast notes. So head that way. And there's a lot more stuff there for you to stay tuned to. So again, stay tuned to the next episode. We're going to be talking about the 24 hours accountability no activity list, right? So we're going to stay into this goal setting and action plan so you can continue to make progress, right? In the meantime, you have a good one. Ciao, ciao, folks. Thanks for listening to the BFABBU Made Simple podcast. Can you do me a favor? If you enjoyed this episode, share it with a friend and leave it a rating. It helps the podcast and I really appreciate it. If you're wondering where to start, head over to my website, linked in the show notes, to sign up to receive encouragement, tips, and strategies to maximize results. While you're there, download a free health guide to get you started today. If you're looking for a coach and trainer to help you optimize your weight, body, and health, get on my calendar. Let's discuss your goals, establish a custom plan, implement it, and celebrate your results. Together, we can do this. Find the link to schedule a free energy audit strategy session also in the show notes. Connect with me on social media. I would love for you to let me know that you're listening to the show. Also, see the show notes for the links. In addition to a qualified healthcare practitioner, it's important that you have someone in your corner who is in for you and will help you to plan and stay on track implementing your goals. Are you ready? Let's rock and roll this boat. I will see you on the next episode of BFABBU Made Simple. Just a reminder that this podcast is for educational purposes only. This podcast is not a substitute for health care by a doctor or other qualified medical professionals. This podcast is provided on the understanding that it does not constitute medical or other professional advice or services.